Hello everyone, welcome to a Rangers transfer special, if you like, as we delve into new signing Yousef Chermiti, who arrived from Everton on deadline day, becomes Rangers' second most expensive signing and a deal worth up to £10 million. It brings me great pleasure that we're joined once again on the channel by James Pendleton, who works for Everton Newsfeed Online, big Evertonian. James, how's it going?
Yes, all good. Thanks, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, all good. Can't complain, I've got to say. Pretty busy deadline day for Rangers yesterday. What's it been like for Everton? Are the fans quite happy with the business that's been done?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I think a lot of 7s and 8s being thrown around. I think when people are trying to rank the window, maybe a player or two short, but there was a lot to do and we got a lot done. So, yeah, not too bad at all.
Yeah, super stuff. Well, we're intrigued. We obviously had you on before when Kevin Thelwell was confirmed as the sporting director at Rangers. It's fair to say he's coming for a bit of criticism lately with the team sort of stumbling of late and the transfer business that's been carried out. Rangers have had a really poor start to the league season. But heavy money was spent yesterday on Yousef Chermiti. Now, of course, he joined you boys a little over 2 years ago from Sporting Lisbon over in Portugal for a big fee at the time, but he never really quite made it and made the grade at Everton. Can you tell us a bit about the signing to begin with, and what's the feeling amongst? I've seen on social media some Evertonians unhappy that he's left on a permanent deal without having seen him properly. What's your feeling on it, James?
Yeah, I think when he signed, we were desperate for a striker because obviously Calvert-Lewin was still struggling with his injury issues. Obviously Anthony Gordon had gone, he could play up front at that point. I think Demarai Gray might have gone by then as well. He was another striker option. So we really had nobody. Arnaud Danjuma was probably the only forward player we had in the building. Even he was, a wide man. So when it came out, it was actually Fabrizio Romano. I had not heard anything about him. And then he tweeted out saying that he was going to be moving to Everton. Really took the fan base by surprise. But then I think you looked at him, you saw some of the clips, so it's not too much there. I think a lot of youth football involved, but I think fans were really excited. Tall fella, physically quite imposing. Seems to have a decent touch and it's got a good goal scoring record at youth level and with Portugal as well. It's in their youth teams. I think people were really excited. But then, 2 years on, I think he's played maybe 20 games. I think he started maybe 2 in all competitions, 2 or 3. Never scored a couple of goals in pre-season last year, and that's kind of when you felt he was going to make a big move because he played a bit towards the end of the season before last, his first season, and then he played in pre-season, looked good, then got an injury, and that's kind of what's derailed his Everton career. I think that injury is what prevented him from having a sniff of first team football the start of last season, also prevented him going out on loan, and then it's ended up in here where he's not even getting in a squad for games. So a big shame, and I think there are a lot of fans who are disappointed that they didn't really get to see him.
Yeah. What do you make of the fee? Do you think that's a fair transfer fee for him?
Yeah, I think I think we paid quite a lot of money for him. I think it was about 12-13 million pounds. I think the Rangers to spend 8, 9, 10 million pounds on him, as you said there, I thought he'd be right up there with Rangers' record signings. So that's an awful lot of money. But Kevin Thelwell obviously signed him at Everton, is now signed at Rangers. He's put a lot of eggs in this quite unproven basket. So I think it's interesting. I think he's the kind of player, and I think he's got the potential and the ceiling where in a year or two he very much be worth that money and could obviously move on again for even more. But obviously at the same time as well, he's not been fit. He's not played a lot of football last couple of years. I would imagine Rangers fans will have to be patient with him. I know they've signed another couple of strikers over the window, so it's not like it's all down to him. But it's one of those deals where I think that in maybe a year or two, Everton could look at it and be disappointed that they haven't got him anymore, or it could be a case of obviously one of the other lads maybe outshines him and maybe he ends up moving on again. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it looks like they're certainly paid for potential. I don't think it's a move that would have occurred if Kevin Thelwell and Dan Purdy didn't know about this boy beforehand. You mentioned that he does have a big frame. Is he one of those guys, a big lad? Is he good with the ball at his feet, James, from what you witnessed from him?
Yeah, well, I think his best game for Everton was when he started against Brentford, right at the end of the 23-24 season. It was the game where we confirmed that we were going to be staying up. We just won the derby a few days before. Calvin got injured there. Beto was out with, I think he had concussion maybe or something similar. So it was down to him. He'd basically not played all season. And he came in, he was really good. He should have got an assist. I think Decore missed a really good chance where he did really well to set up. A couple of nice flicks. So I think he's a relatively strong dribbler. He's, I think 6'3", 6'4". Stocky lad, put a lot of muscle on during his time at Everton. So I think he is a big guy, but as you said there, I think he does have a bit of finesse about him. Decent touch. I think that's one of the things that Kevin Farwell likes so much about him, because he offered a different profile to a Beto, to a Calvert-Lewin. Obviously all three of them are big physical strikers, but I think on the deck he may well have been the most talented. So that's what obviously you hope he can show when he's obviously at Rangers.
Yeah, of course, just over 20 games with you boys. Didn't score a goal, James. That is where some of the criticism from the Rangers fans comes from, that such a huge sum of money for Rangers terms, not certainly down south, the fees that players go for. It's not that much, but for Rangers, as I mentioned, second highest fee that they've paid for a player, and someone that's a striker with no real track record of finding the back of the net. Do you see where the concerns that have been raised? Did he look like scoring when he was with Everton?
I can definitely see where the concerns are. I think because when the rumour first came about, it looked like it was going to be a loan deal, and you're thinking, all right, we'll see how that goes. And I don't know whether maybe that was the plan, and then maybe, I don't know, Armani moved on from Rangers. Maybe it was a case of them thinking they've got the money now and they wanted to try and secure him long term. I mean, I'm not sure. I'd be interested maybe to see what comes out about the deal in that way. But I think he looks handy. He had a game against Crystal Palace, I think it was last season. He came on late. He helped us see through the game. He played well. Again, I'm looking not to get an assist actually in that game. Nice little dribble down the left, cut it back for James Garner, and he just missed. He scored in that game as well. So I think I certainly wouldn't say when he played it was like he was way out of his depth, or you could definitely see something about him. I think it was just the case that, Beto came in, I think maybe a week after Chermiti signed. Calvert-Lewin, I think he fractured his cheekbone, I think, then he came back. So within about 3-4 weeks being in the building, he went from first choice to third choice very quickly. He was still only a teenager at that point as well. And he struggled in a cup game. It was his debut against Doncaster. He came off at half time. He struggled there in his first start. And then obviously we had Sean Dyche, manager, maybe not massively keen to give someone like that a real chance. I thought David Moyes might have liked him, but he just struggled with injury so much last year that he never really got a fair crack of the whip, when I think he definitely would have, because again, we were reliant on Beto for the entirety of the back half of the season, really, who did okay, but he certainly could have been dislodged, I think. And if Moyes had the option to miss, I think he would have used him. So I feel like it's probably a case of, because he has been out, he's not played, he's not David Moyes' man. Kevin Fowler's obviously no longer here either. So I think they're probably just happy to cut their losses a little bit.
Yeah, I very much hope he's not an injury-prone guy. We've seen that too many times at Rangers down the years. When he was coming on and playing, for those that might not watch Everton on a regular basis, James, was he playing as the lone front man or alongside somebody?
It'd be a mix, really. I think a lot of time he'd come on when we were trying to see a game out, and Beto or Calvert-Lewin had run around all game, and he'd come on quite late and try and help us see out the victory. Or I think in the case of maybe Everton chasing the game, and he'd come on, he'd play alongside the two. But I thought he always looked stronger in his games, and he was up there on his own, because I say he is a big physical presence. He got about centre backs and going from left to right, working hard, and I think that's kind of the archetypal striker a lot of coaches go for at the minute, where they like to have a big fellow up front who can hold the ball up, bring teams into play, get you up the pitch. So I think so long as he can stay fit, that's the only question. I think he had a bad injury at the start last season when he had a couple of niggling injuries. So as long as he's over the niggling injuries, and I think there's a real chance he could obviously star up in Scotland.
Yeah, let's hope you are right. Well, that's been great insight. Thank you for that, James. Just on Everton, whilst we're here, good start to the season, hasn't it? I mean, I thought you were robbed at Ellen Road, but what's the predictions this season for you boys?
Yeah, I agree. I thought the Ellen Road one was a disaster, the penalty decision. But other than that, it's been really good. 3 wins in 6 days or whatever, which is doesn't happen too often for a lot of teams, to be fair. So yeah, really pleased, looking good. At the minute, I think we're in 5th right now. Doesn't really matter, obviously, but if we can stay in that half of the league, that would be really, really nice, and a real boost from where we have been the last few years.
Yeah, and how's the new stadium?
Oh, it's really good. Yeah, it's really, really good. I think I missed the game on Wednesday. I was on holiday, so I was at the Brighton game though, and yeah, it was really nice. It's just a shame that obviously we got the international break because it's got to wait another, I think, 11 days till the Villa game. So, but be back in there soon enough. And if you ever get a chance to come down, I'd definitely recommend it.
Yeah, very much hope to pay a visit one day. Well, that's been great, James. Thank you very much for coming on. If you want to find more from what James does, as I mentioned earlier on, he does great work with the Toffee Blues at Everton Newsfeed. Go and check them out online. James, thank you for coming on, and all the best for the rest of the season.
Cheers, mate. You too. Thank you very much.
There you go, folks. A bit of insight into Yousef Chermiti. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and we'll speak to you again soon. Bye for now.